Let's go.
Wednesday afternoon.
A pretty cruel chance. And of course, football fans love needling their opposite numbers. But no, I mean, realistically, I mean, the teams at the bottom, I don't think are going to get to 30 points. I mean, you've got the three teams down there who came up last season. Now, I know Palace have got 30, I believe, and Man United, what have they got, 28, 29, something like that. Now, there's still quite a lot of games to go. That Manchester United will get more points. So, no, I think the risk of relegation is pretty much zero. Right. And of course, they won at the weekend in the Cup, didn't they? Manchester United won. But an interesting point on that with no VAR, and I think there have been a few incidents in the FA Cup where there hasn't been VAR so far, which shows we do actually need it. I know sometimes when we have it, we don't like the decisions that are made. Even then, mistakes can be made. But for example, if you saw the game, Harry Maguire's winning goal was not just marginally offside, it was way offside. And yet the linesman, who was right in line, didn't flag. Now, I think the risk here is that linesmen generally, certainly in the Premier League, and I think they were Premier League officials, I think, but they're getting used to sometimes not flagging, letting the play go on, and if there's a goal, then they know VAR will check it and see that it was or it wasn't offside, particularly if the linesman wasn't totally sure. But of course, they may still have that mindset that VAR will save the day. But if they don't flag when there's no VAR, then a goal is likely to be scored which shouldn't stand. And you probably saw it. Harry Maguire's goal should never have been a goal. Now, okay, they may have deserved to win anyway, but that's not the point. So, it's an interesting aside that VAR, again, sort of comes to the fore, and we need to think, what are we going to do? Either we're going to have VAR in all the FA Cup matches, or we're not. I mean, I think in the next round, I think I'm right in saying VAR will be at the matches. I mean, let's face it, it's a very expensive thing to put in to have within matches, to go around so many grounds of all the teams entering the competition. And I can understand that expense in itself is too much. But as the numbers in the competition remaining get less, then they can afford to do it. So that was another interesting one. But no, to come back to your question, I don't think Manchester United are in any risk of relegation. But by their own standards, the idea of finishing perhaps halfway, maybe even in the bottom half. I still think they'll finish in the top half, but they could finish in the bottom half. That's not the Manchester United we've known really for years and years, is it? So, I don't honestly think it's going to put Amorim's job on the line. I think the board, the owners hired him. They knew there were issues and problems with the playing staff and so on. So he's got to be given time to sort that out. There's little point, I would have thought, in taking on another manager now. What did surprise me, I read yesterday in some article that Jim Ratcliffe, isn't it? He's the man, the owner. And it could have been a typo, but it said he's now sacking another 200 members of staff. Did you see that? Now I thought, should it really be 20? And it probably is 200, but I thought, well, why would they have 200 members of staff who he can simply sack and not affect the club? And I mean, is that right? Is it really 200 to your knowledge?
It is. I saw, I'm not sure it's the same article that we saw, you saw, that I saw anyway. But I saw
South Family and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday. So join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom, Dr.
I'm not sure it's the same article that we saw, you saw, that I saw anyway. But I saw an article talking about cost cutting, on his part.
Yeah.
And then I saw another article about a New Zealand rugby team suing him for sponsorship. And I'm thinking he might be having money problems. He might be having money problems, and is desperately trying to claw back a lot of the expenses, that he's making at the moment. So 200. Well, if he's doing cost cutting and he's letting 20 people go, that wouldn't necessarily make the news. It's got to be something significant. 200 might sound right, because it did get the attention of the press and he made the news. Cost cutting.
Just makes you wonder though, what are those 200 people's jobs?
I know.
I mean, perhaps there's all sorts of small-time jobs or whatever around a football club, and we know Man United is a huge international club, internationally famous, one of the richest clubs in the world as well. So maybe they have all sorts of maybe staff are not just in Manchester there, but maybe around the country or even in places around the world who look after their interests, their fan clubs in different countries. So I could see it that way if they were offloading that kind of thing. But it just seemed remarkable to me, and I'm not sure. Is he a popular man, Jim Ratcliffe, with the fans? And is he not like the Glazers? I mean, they're not particularly popular, are they? But I don't know whether Jim Ratcliffe whether the fans think he's doing this for the future of the club.
I think it's managed to stay under the radar for quite a long time now. I mean, he hadn't been there that long, not like the Glaziers, but it's managed to stay under the radar. But with what he's doing now, it won't be staying under the radar for that long.
He won't. No, he won't.
It's incredible. In the spotlight now. With I mean, when he sacked Dan Ash, what's it called? One of the management, somebody on the management board, when he sacked him a while ago.
Yeah, I know. I remember him when he did that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that made the news, didn't it? And now he's doing more sacks. So he's always going on about cost cutting, which I think there's a lot of distraction at the moment with the club, the grounds, trying to relocate, trying to get the government to actually chip in a bit towards the whatever renovation or move or whatever. That proposal is still there, so that is distracting and then the poor performances with the players, so that's distracting the fans at the moment. But it won't be long before he's under the spotlight, I presume. It won't be long before he would, with all that he's doing. So, but having said that, this we've got about 3 minutes, and I just wanted to talk about this player. Excuse me. And he's a Manchester United player that was that went on loan to Real Betis, called Anthony. Now he was saying something in the news, because he's doing well at Real Betis, scoring goals. Scored 2 goals in a match, and now I think they're trying to recall him, and he's not happy about. Yeah, he's not happy about that. So he's like, well, you don't really know where he stands, and I can understand his frustration, because he's trying to settle in Real Betis, and it's quite uncertain whether it's like, should I stay or should I go, that sort of thing. What do you make of Anthony? I mean, we don't know very much about him, but
yeah, I mean, I think I've said before that he always seemed to get a lot of flack from the opposition's fans. He's always been one of those players in the matches around the country where the other fans, the opposition fans, take a real dislike to him. Perhaps because, I don't know, perhaps because they sense that he's kind of a bit vulnerable to that. I mean, personally, I've seen him play a few times, and I think he's a very good footballer. I mean, he wouldn't have been transferred to Manchester United in the first place if he wasn't. So I think I rate him highly. I can understand him not necessarily wanting to come back. He may not, as you say, may not know where he stands. I don't know what his standing is with the Manchester United fans, but that said, I have a hunch that maybe he's had some flack there as well, as have other members of the team when they've been struggling this season. So he may not feel comfortable with the idea of coming back to a possible unwelcoming around match if he's playing in the league matches around the country, and possibly some criticism from his own people as well, his own fans. But for my part, from what I see of him, I think he's a very good footballer. He's presumably proving that at Real Betis, so, and scoring goals. He's got that in him. He's a first-class footballer on his day. But again, I think his confidence was drained from a lot of the criticism he got.
Yeah. Right, so this is all we've got time for. Oh, I always love the football referee, and now we don't have enough time.
It goes quick, doesn't it?
It does go really quick. Right, so you've been watching the football referee with myself, Emmy Hikins, and he calls me bruv.
And me, Trevor Gear, and I call him Cuz.
Yeah. So join us again, same time next week for another interesting season of the football referee. It's a goodbye from me.
And it's a goodbye from me.
All right. So let's just stop recording.
Safemo and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday, so join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom.